So, what exactly is zoning, and why is it exactly a bad thing? Well, to answer that question, we need to define as to what zoning is. All zoning is the concept of being able to buy areas permanently and keep them permanently for a specific price as long as you have access to the account. And there are two ways that people are able to play Wizard101. Zoning is one of them. The other one is membership. And membership is a subscription, but it's a subscription with some extra benefits. One of those benefits include extra backpack space, which is not this many, but it's like, I think, a plus 40. Extra friendship space, more energy, which you can use to train pets, which is very important in this game as it's a stats-based game. It will become important in the future for sure. Gardening, which also becomes important in the future because it gives you some extra stuff that could be useful. And it also comes with extra stuff, like recently, Scroll of Fortune is on sale if you have a member, and in my opinion, it should be free if you have a member. But there's also the member benefits, which come every weekend. It's randomized. You know, it can be something as useful as double pet XP, which allows you to train pets faster. It can be something that's not so useful, but that's another topic for another day. And finally, the most recent implementation to try to entice players to get themselves a membership is the loyalty store. The loyalty store is based on the consecutive months that you maintain that membership, and with those consecutive months, you increase your tier. Currently, I have the maximum tier, which is tier 4. Tier 4 gives you 4 tokens, and I believe those are given to you around the beginning of each month. And with that, you're able to buy stuff like rare cosmetics, packs, farming materials like the gold keys, which allow you to farm special bosses, benefit elixirs, if you need more of them, and they are very useful depending on what you're going for. And there's some more stuff that can be given, like a rare malin stuff, which is really neat. There needs to be updates for it for sure, but for what it is, it's actually kind of cool. And honestly, it's been one of my more favorite implementations on how to entice people to actually still continue with membership. But the topic of today is zoning, and why is it a bad thing? Well, to answer that question, we need to also talk about what is currently the free-to-play experience for Wizard101. So the free-to-play experience for Wizard101 is you make a wizard, you do the tutorial, get to meet the first bad guy being Malister and his plans, get some lore and story on it. Then you go towards the first area, Unicorn Way, go towards the second area, like past the Old Town shop here, and you just go to Trident Avenue. Once you do the story there, it just stops because you can't do the final boss of that area because it's locked behind the paywall, being Cyclops Lane and Firecat Alley. And it's been this for years, since I've been playing in 2010, and the game has been out for a little bit longer than that. So it's an issue. And the reason why zoning is an issue is because I feel like it's KingsIsle's one main excuse to not make a meaningful expansion to the free-to-play aspect of the game. And the reason I think this is because KingsIsle, unfortunately, as much as I love them, they're really bad when it comes towards compensation. They rarely give compensation, and a lot of people will even consider them cheap, and I will probably be one of them too at times. And it's just something that has to be said. I mean, someone has to say it. It's the truth. And I feel like a lot of people are worried that, like, the moment that this happens, then, like, there could be an issue with, like, the whole compensation thing. Because, like, maybe they won't, you know, actually compensate the players adequately. And it is a very tough subject for sure. Because how exactly do you compensate for players who have been playing the game for a long time and the once permanent thing is gone? Well, there are methods to do it, and it's not necessarily perfect, but it is a discussion to have. And it's a discussion that I would like to have with y'all. So, with that being said, how much does it cost to play Wizard101? The cost to play Wizard101 currently is 212,000 225 crowns. And we're going to base it on two categories. We're going to base it on the sell basically being 80k crowns for $80, or the regular price, which is basically going to be 800 crowns per dollar, or the sell price being 1,000 crowns per dollar. And if we base on that, and we base it on USD, the total price for Wizard101, the regular price is $265.28. The sell price will be $212.22 as of January 23rd, 2024. Because you need to keep in mind that there's going to be more expansions on the game, since there's more content coming, like dungeons, or worlds, and arcs, the continuation of the story. You know, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be added, and with that, that means more zoning prices. And it's definitely an issue, because if you really want to give a very healthy community, a very healthy and thriving community, there needs to be a better free-to-play experience. And with my suggestion is to gradually expand on the free-to-play experience for newer players. But it's not to say that Wiz hasn't done, or KingsIsle hasn't done anything. They have done some things. Some of them are good. First-time user experience, better tutorial overall, gives like more information. It's more detailed, it's nice, but it's not really enough to bring in new players. They've done free Wizard City and Crocotopia, which it's like kind of whatever in my opinion. My most favorites have been free First Arc, and definitely the 12 Days of the Spiral. 12 Days of the Spiral basically being the 12 Days of Christmas, and within that time, recently, they've been having it to where people get free memberships, which I think is awesome, and they need to keep doing that. But it's not enough to bring in new players. And the reason why I think that new players don't want to play the game is because that price tag is really huge. Now, you can make the argument that, oh, well, just buy a membership because there's more benefits to it. Well, there's two problems with that. Number one, newer players aren't really going to understand the benefits of membership, like if you explain it to them, because they don't know what any of it is. They won't understand it until they actually experience it themselves. And the first important thing is that they need to experience it. And they don't want to experience it because they don't necessarily think that it's worth the time and money. And with that, it's mainly due to the issue of where the free-to-play experience stops. It stops way before the first world, which is really unfortunate. But in my solution, the idea is to give Arc 1 for free to start things off, but there needs to be a gradual increase in the free-to-play aspect of the game. So, there's a couple ways you could go about it. You can have it to where every 2 arcs, a previous arc is now going to be free. So like right now, we're currently in Arc 4, so we can make Arc 1 free. Let's say Arc 6 come out, then we'll make Arc 2 free. Which is like pretty long time in order to like expand it, but it is going to be given, which is nice. Or you can have it to where, let's say Arc 1 is given for free. Arc 5 comes out, let's give half of the arc, the next arc for free. And then Arc 6 comes out, and let's finally give the remaining part of the previous arc for free. So that's another method of doing it. But the reason why I think Arc 1 at minimum should be free is because by then, players have a good amount of knowledge on how the combat works. They were also able to experience pretty much all of the end game content that Wizard101 has to offer, with the exception of raids, but that's another story. They're able to do competitive Wizard101, which is like, you know, ranked PvP. And it could be a renaissance of a potential as free-to-play as possible PvP, which is really cool. Now, not everyone is into PvP, but it's something that people can do. And it's also going to be likely the level that's going to require the least amount of grind. Because one of the reasons why a lot of people aren't necessarily interested in max level PvP is because there's way too much grind. There's grind for you to get to max level in the first place. There's grind for you to get all these other extra things along with the gear. And it doesn't really entice people because, you know, people have lives, people have jobs. It's just the truth of the matter. But if you're given Arc 1 for free, then sure, they still need to dedicate time, but it doesn't really feel that dreadful to do. They're now given an opportunity to not only somewhat take their time with it, but once they're ready, most likely they're ready because there's not much else that's coming other than like maybe new spells, and that's it. So it is likely going to be potentially, if you were to do this, the most free-to-play friendly competitive scene in Wizard101, which is potentially likely to be very popular and could potentially even overtake max level PvP. And when it comes towards the health of the community, well, now you're going to see more players in those worlds that you typically don't see many of. Whenever I started playing and I finally got a membership, there were so many people that were able to help me through my experience when it comes towards questing the first arc. Because at the time, it was only second arc, and there was still a good amount of players that were doing first arc. Nowadays, every arc before the current arc is like a barren wasteland. And it's because most of the community are veterans, and within that community, they're just waiting for the next big thing. They're waiting for the next new dungeon. They're waiting for the next new world. So they don't really have a reason to go back to previous worlds. And the population in those areas are very small. And it shows. It literally shows. Even if you were to go to a crowded realm, you won't see as many people in like the Arc 3 areas in comparison to Arc 4 because everyone is focused on that new thing. Now, it is inevitable to happen, but it's much more so in Wizard101 as of current time because there just isn't that large of a community like there used to be. So, with that being said, what about the compensation? Because we need to talk about the compensation. Now, we all have our very own opinions about the compensation and how it should be, you know, how we should go about it. And this is definitely worth discussion. And I definitely want to discuss it with you guys in the comments below. But one way you can go about it, give them a bunch of membership elixirs, you know, because Crowns players do miss out on member benefits. So like give them a bunch of member benefit elixirs, you know, give them stuff that they are enticed to actually utilize, you know, double pet XP, double gardening, double crafting, all that stuff, all those goodies. That will be awesome. Give them like a rare exclusive housing item, give them like a rare exclusive like mount or something, you know, give them something as a form of gratitude and thanks for being a supporter since day one. Show them that you care. Now, many people may not like this, but at the end of the day, the one thing I will say to all of you, and this also includes King's Isle, if you care for the community to thrive and keep increasing, you're going to have to be willing to do some risk that can potentially give you some high rewards, and those risks could benefit you in the long run. And with that said, I will be leaving off the video here. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, but as always, to everyone watching, remember to stay frenzy, and peace.